very effective method. And I actually just realized this is now the second time that I'm starting with one thing and I'm ending up with something different. This hurts me more than it hurts you. Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I am so glad you found me because this week I am diving into some more thrift store clothing makeovers. I started this series last year as a way to incorporate some clothing DIYs amongst all of my home decor and renovation content. While I love all things home, my actual background is in costume design, so I've really missed having fun and getting creative with fashion. And also, I do love to show you guys how to repurpose secondhand treasures, whether that is clothing, furniture, or decor. And though I would consider myself on the more advanced side of clothing construction, not to worry, I'm always looking to keep these thrift flips beginner friendly. So if you're new to sewing, you've come to the right place. So with all of that being said, let's dive into it and let's get to these thrift store transformations. So if you haven't seen the previous videos in this series, not to worry, this is only the third one, so you haven't missed much. But when I do these videos, I like to pick a theme. The first theme was flannels. The second theme was duping expensive pairs of jeans. And for this theme, you might have already guessed what the theme is. It's patchwork. Yeah! And yesterday, I went ahead and I did some prep work for all of these projects. I cut out all of my patches. And to keep this beginner friendly, one, I made the patches on the larger side. Not only is that gonna make it a little bit easier, but it's also gonna make sure that these projects aren't too time consuming. And then to keep it beginner friendly, I also cut all of my patches in rectangles, which means I'm going to be sewing a lot of straight lines. So I'm going to start gathering some patches for this first project. And I'm very excited for this first project because this is the first time I am taking thrifted clothes and making something completely brand new. In my previous two videos, I started with a sweatshirt, I ended with a sweatshirt, or I started with a pair of jeans, I ended with a pair of jeans. This time I am taking thrifted materials and I'm ending up with a tote bag. If you're wondering what word I'm saying, I am saying B-A-G. I can't say it any other way because of my accent, but I've had people look at me very perplexed throughout my life when I say bag. Bag, bag. It's a bag, but I thought that a tote bag would be the perfect first project for patchwork and also the perfect first project for making something completely brand new because there's not too much clothing construction that needs to go into it. I need to figure out how big I want to make my bag. I kind of want it to be slightly oversized. I want this thing to be big. Okay, we're gonna do 26 by 16. So there is some like seam allowance. So this is 27 by 17. So I just want one more piece. I think I'll go with this t-shirt. Okay, I have my first side pieced together, and even in the way that I'm piecing my patchwork together, I'm trying to keep it really simple. There's not gonna be any like weird lines that don't match up. So this is a straight line, and then I'm gonna keep all of this straight lines. So let's sew together my first patches, which are up here. I'm going to flip and lay this like that and just pin these two pieces together. Now I gotta bring in my girl Sheila. It's been so long since I've used her. I've missed you, girl. Let me plug you in. You need some power. Also, I just got this thing. Thank you, TikTok Shop. We love our TikTok shop around here, but it's this magnet and it makes it so that you know you're sewing the same seam allowance every single time. And I'm so excited to try this. Let me see it. They said it really sticks on. Oh wow, yeah. That thing is not going anywhere. Yeah, that is really stuck. I have this set for a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, this is the first straight line of this video. Let's get to it. Oh yeah, oh that's gonna look so good. So I am just using my rotary cutter. You can use scissors, but I am just cutting this so that it's even. We can get rid of that. So for my next sewing adventure, I think the easiest thing to do is to sew these pieces together and then get them sewn to these first two pieces. Second straight line, let's do it. Next two pieces I'm getting attached is this gray t-shirt to this dark gray corduroy piece. Third straight line. I guess I don't have to keep announcing the number of lines I'm sewing. Wow, this magnet thing, game changer. So I'm gonna take this piece, flip it over, and pin it to this piece. But before I do this, since I am working with a seam right here, I am going to press out my seam. We gotta press out our seams always. Another straight line coming your way. Okay, last piece for this bottom section. Amazing. And then let me lay this flat and then cut off this t-shirt. Oh, this is so cute. I know it's not fully attached, but it's very, very cute. Now I can take this bottom piece, I can flip it over, and then I can sew these two pieces up. Okay, moment of truth. We'll flip this over. Yeah, it's a little wonky right now because I have to iron this flat, but this is my first side. Yes. Let me hit it with some heat. So I'm gonna go ahead and piece together my other 4 sides of my bag. I'm gonna have another piece that is this size, and then I will have my side pieces and my bottom piece. And I'm not sure how big those pieces are gonna be because I don't know how deep I wanna make this bag. So once I figure all of that out and I have everything pieced together, I'll let you guys know. All of my pieces are put together and my bag is going to end up being, I think, like 25 inches wide, 16 inches tall, and how many inches deep? I think it was 8 inches deep. Yeah, 8 inches deep. And if you have seen my videos where I have made ottoman covers, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. So if you think about it, an ottoman is just a very large upside down tote bag. So like I say when I make my ottoman covers, this is 8 straight lines. So I'm going to attach all of my side pieces to my bottom piece, and then I'll be able to sew up my side pieces. So let me get started just attaching the side pieces first, and then we can go from there. Okay, I'll stop announcing my straight lines, but you know, this is the third one, in case you were wondering. Okay, so now I have this like large, awkward shaped T. What I'm going to do now is sew up the corners. So this corner sewn up, this corner sewn up, this corner sewn up. This might seem complicated, but again, it's just 4 more straight lines. my sides are sewn up and I just went ahead and did some work because the inside of my bag, it's of course patched together, and I want to make the inside of the bag not only look nicer, but I wanted to have more structure because of course this is a little flimsy, and then I also want this bag to be a little bit stronger and not have to rely on all of these seams from the patchwork to hold things in it. So what I did is I thrifted a bed sheet and I went ahead and made my liner out of this. I cut 5 pieces just like I had for the bag itself, and then I sewed it up exactly how I did. I attached the side pieces to the bottom piece and then sewed up the side. So to sew in a liner, I am going to take this outside piece and flip it inside out. And then I am going to take my liner, I'm gonna leave it right side out and stick it inside my bag. And I am going to line up the corners, line up the top, and sew 1/2 inch in at the top. But then in this top piece, I am going to leave a small hole, probably like 2 inches wide, maybe a little bit more. And that's gonna make it so that I can flip this all inside out, and then all of the raw edges will be on the inside. Okay guys, my liner is sewn up. I've got a hole in this side over here. Now I'm going to pop this out, and then I can pull this through and pull all the rest of this fabric through. Okay, and now my bag has a cute liner. So the final thing that I need to do is make some handles and get them attached. So I have 2 pieces here that are 36 inches long and 5 inches wide. I am going to fold them in half and sew a long straight line 1/2 inch in. Now, this is gonna be kind of annoying because it is annoying every time unless you have a little tool, but I am just flipping this in, or I guess right side out. Come in. Almost there. Come in. Did it. Oh my goodness. Okay. First handle done. Now I gotta flip the other one. Very effective method. I made it. I don't know why that's always like the hardest thing in the world to do. So what I am going to do to finish up this bag and add these handles, I'm going to pick a spot in this liner. I'm going to seam rip that open, and then I'm gonna stick the handles in that liner opening and sew it back shut. And then my handles will be sewn in and everything will be on the inside where you can't see it, and it's gonna look really nice. And that will complete my first patchwork thrift flip. And then we can move on to the second project. Good morning guys, it is time to do another patchwork project, and although I love my bag, I am going to be making something I can actually wear today. And I've seen this around a lot, but I don't know exactly what it's called, so I'm hoping it's just called a patchwork t-shirt dress, because that's what it is. I am going to be taking this graphic tee that I thrifted and turning it into a dress. And I actually just realized this is now the second time that I'm starting with one thing and I'm ending up with something different. So the first thing I need to do is pop this t-shirt on and figure out where I want to crop it. So I'm thinking like right here in the middle of Lady Liberty. Now also remember, if you try this out, wherever you crop it, it's gonna be lifted up another like 1/2 inch. So I think I'm gonna go just a little lower. I'm gonna use a white charcoal pencil to mark out a straight line. And I wanna go ahead and crop this shirt now because I actually wanna use this bottom half of the graphic in my patchwork. Now I'm just gonna quickly pin the front and the back of the shirt together so that it holds in place while I cut it. And she is cropped. I am going to go ahead and put this back on and then figure out how long I want to extend this shirt to make it a dress. 21. So I have to make my patchwork piece 21 inches long. Now I gotta figure out how wide I need to make it. Okay, my t-shirt is roughly 25 inches across from seam to seam, but I want this patchwork skirt to the dress to be a little bit gathered. So I am gonna make a piece that is 21 inches long and 60 inches wide, because I'm gonna then fold it in half, sew it up, and I'll have 30 inches of material in the front and 30 inches of material in the back. And then I will also gather that 30 inches to 25 inches. And I forgot to mention this yesterday, but one of my favorite things to do within patchwork is to leave pieces of the garment that show what that patch used to be. So I really want to incorporate this sweatshirt pocket patch. I think this would look so cool as a pocket for this dress, like off to the side. I'm gonna get to work piecing together this 21 by 60 inch patchwork piece that I need for this dress, and then we can go from there. This is the Bonnie Show. I'm just here. This hurts me more than it hurts you. We've got some room to move and work. If I've learned anything today, it is that I need to make a patchwork blanket for my cat, because the only way I could get her to get off of all of this was to put my tote bag I made yesterday behind me, and now she is sleeping on that. I've never seen her like sleeping on a surface so much. And guys, this took a while. So because the tote bag, I thought I could have like more fun with it. If something looked a little wonky, it wasn't a big deal. But since I'm trying to turn this into a dress and something I actually wear, I really thought through the placement of the patches and how everything went together. I also decided to go a little bit longer than my initial estimate, just because, well, it's a lot easier for me to chop fabric off than it's going to be for me to add fabric and lengthen it if it's too short. So the next thing that I need to do is turn this large panel into a skirt. So I'm going to take this end, flip it over, and then sew a nice straight line so that this fabric is one big circle. Okay, so now I have my skirt. So like I said earlier, I want my skirt to be gathered, so it's a little bit wider than my t-shirt is. You can do a gathering stitch with a sewing machine, but to keep this beginner friendly, I am going to do a gathering stitch just hand sewing. So I've got a piece of thread here with a needle, and this is the front of my skirt. So I am just going to go up and over across the front of my skirt, and I'm just doing the front, and then I'm gonna do a separate stitch in the back so that we have an even gather in the front and an even gather in the back. Where is 25? 25 is right there. So I'm just going to tie this off. And now I'm just going to flip this over and repeat the process. Also, in my opinion, gathering is not pleating, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Obviously, we want as evenly distributed gathering as we possibly can get, but I don't think it has to be perfect. Now that I have my skirt gathered to the width of my shirt, I have my skirt inside out. So I am going to take my shirt, it's still right side out, and I am going to stick it up into this skirt as best I can. And I'm also making sure that my skirt, or the part that I want to be the front, is actually flipped towards the front of my shirt. And normally what I would do is just take some pins and pin the shirt to the skirt, but because there's so much going on and because I want to make sure that the shirt is lined up with the skirt nicely before I go ahead and actually sew it using my machine, I'm going to do a basting stitch. That is just a loose stitch that you remove in the end. Once I have this basting stitch in place and I double check that I like the placement of the front of the shirt with how it's lining up with the skirt, I'll go ahead and sew that. Guys, I did it! I made a cool graphic tee patchwork dress. I just went ahead and tried it on, and it is definitely very, very long. I am going to be cutting off most of this bottom half of the patchwork. I think I'll leave like an inch so that there's like a cool patch trim at the bottom. So for this hemline, I am going to do a double fold and press and then get that sewn up. So I'm going to fold the fabric once, fold the fabric again so that raw edge is encased in the fabric, and then all that will be left is about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch of fabric for this last row of patches. And I think this is such a cool detail, having this tiny, thin patchwork hemline on the dress. So I'm gonna get all of that done, and then we can move on to the third and final project. Good morning, guys. It is time to finish up this third and final patchwork thrift flip. And I'm not gonna lie, this is the project I was the most excited to tackle, and this is also the project that prompted the theme of this video. So about a month ago, I think, maybe it was a little bit longer at this point, I was scrolling through Instagram and this video popped up on my feed that had absolutely nothing to do with what the woman in the video is wearing, but when I saw what she was wearing, I knew I had to try making this. It's basically like an oversized, long patchwork denim jacket. It is so cute, and I'm really hoping mine turns out just as cute as the one in the video. And after I saw the jacket, I did do a ton of research to see if it's from some kind of like well-known brand. Couldn't find anything about it. But also in doing my research, I came across a similar concept long denim jacket from Anthropology. The concept is the same, the look is very different. So this project is going to be very, very similar to the project I did yesterday with the t-shirt dress, just cropping this denim shirt and making it longer with a patchwork panel. The only difference between this project and the previous two projects is that I do have new patches that I specifically thrifted just for this project. So I'm gonna go ahead, get this denim shirt cropped, make this 55 by 27 inch long panel, and then we can go from there. almost done with this final patchwork thrift store makeover, and I love the way all of these patterns and patches look together. I think it looks so cool. So my next step, now that my panel is all put together, I'm going to get it attached to my denim shirt. So I planned it out so that this seam and this seam right here should line up with the side seams on my shirt, and then this will be the front right hand side and this will be the front left hand side. So I have this all unbuttoned and I'm going to get it pinned out and sew 1/2 inch in. Now I'm going to stick right through and make sure I pin out my seams first so that they're lined up. My back is pinned out. Now I can shift this and get this front put together. I am all pinned out. And now I'm just going to sew one long straight line from one end to the other end. I took that really nice and slow because if you go fast, things can get a little wonky. Moment of truth. Oh, that looks so cool. Definitely have to press that out. Yes, let me put this on and set my hem. This jacket looks so cool on. I can't wait to show you what it looks like. I just figured out where I wanted to hem it to, and so I'm actually gonna be leaving this band right here on and just hemming everything else to match the length of this band. I am going to do all of that. I have one final straight line to go, and that will complete this final thrift store makeover. And that is it, guys. I had so much fun tackling each one of these thrift store patchwork makeovers. And each project is so unique, but also followed very similar steps. So for example, sewing in the tote bag liner was just like connecting this shirt to this patchwork skirt. So if you can make a tote bag, you can make a dress. And I also think each one of these projects shows you that if you can sew a straight line, you can tackle so many projects. And if I'm being honest, the line doesn't even need to be that straight. And I am having the hardest time picking out my favorite project from these 3 projects. The tote bag is so fun and probably going to get the most use. I love the streetwear look of this dress, and I absolutely love the structure of this denim jacket. And I love that I incorporated a suit jacket into the patches. I think it gives it such a cool look. But I would love to know if you have a favorite, and if you try out any of these projects, or if you get inspired to try your own patchwork project, let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys liked this video and these 3 projects. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.